Thank you, Mr Cole-Hamilton. I now call on Jenni Minto to be followed by Donald Cameron. For around 4 minutes, Ms Minto, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. As a former employee of BBC Scotland, I welcome this motion and congratulate Alex Cole-Hamilton on achieving this debate. The proposal to freeze the licence fee for the next 2 years, followed by inflationary rises until 2027 and then possibly abolition, has been described as cultural vandalism by some commentators. I grew up watching Swap Shop and Grange Hill, listening to Radio 1 and Sports Sound. Then, in the early 1990s, joined BBC Scotland. My role was very much behind the camera or mic. I worked with talented programme makers across the television and radio spectrum and across every programme genre. Output that fell very much under the public sector remit: Gaelic broadcasting, Radio Scotland, education and the orchestra. I support the principle of public service broadcasting. It should be defended, but that does not mean it shouldn't be improved. Within its charter, the BBC has a public purpose to invest in the creative economies of the UK's nations and regions. However, there is no requirement that the BBC invests to the same extent in each of the UK nations or regions. Analysis of the last 5 years of the BBC's annual report, you can tell I was an accountant, show how much of the licence fee that is raised and then spent in each of the 4 nations of the United Kingdom. In Wales, it is between 90% and over 100%. In Northern Ireland, it's between 84% and 97%. In Scotland, the figure is 67% to 75%. Scotland is consistently being shortchanged. This is important because an independent report from KPMG calculated that for every £1 spent by the BBC, it generates £2.63 in the wider creative economy. In 2020-21, £101 million of the licence fee raised in Scotland was spent by the BBC elsewhere in the UK. That's therefore a £265 million loss to Scotland's creative economy. Imagine all the stories that could have been told from the Scottish perspective. Think about all the young people of Scotland that could have been on traineeships to work in the industry. And picture how the lives and talents of those of us living here could have been better reflected on screen and on the airwaves. Thinking of my own constituency, Argyll and Bute. BBC Scotland News has just one journalist based in the area, covering 22 inhabited islands, miles and miles of coastline and 5 county towns in both English and in Gaelic. Value for money, yes. But Argyll and Bute, with so much renewable energy, fantastic food and drink and amazing communities, has so many stories it could tell. I want to see and hear Scotland better represented on television and radio at both local and network level. But we face a danger of things getting worse. Tory attacks on the BBC are nothing new. Before Nadine Dorris's announcement, the previous 3 culture secretaries had raised whether public sector broadcasting and the licence fee were fit for purpose. The Tories have form in opposing the BBC and the very spirit of public service broadcasting. Scottish ministers are supposed to have a role in any review of the BBC's charter. UK Culture Secretary Nadine Dorris's provocative statements on the future of the BBC had no input from devolved nations. This demonstrates a complete lack of interest in devolved views on public service broadcasting. And although this debate is about the BBC, I say keep your hands off Channel 4 too. So, to finish, Presiding Officer, there is of course a solution to any Westminster attempt to diminish public service broadcasting for Scotland. Let's cherish the ethos of it and enshrine it in an independent Scottish broadcasting service for an independent Scotland.